Good afternoon, everybody. It is 2:25 p.m. Mountain Time on Monday, August 9th, and we got to get into Bitcoin because Bitcoin has been strong. It's been taking off, and it has just been chugging along. So, wanted to get into that. Want to go over charts today. Not much news. Still waiting on that infrastructure bill that happens to have Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in an infrastructure bill. Still waiting on that, but we'll get into that a little bit and talk about it and some of the effect that it might have on it. And we're just going to get into charts. Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of different altcoins, Microstrategy, GBTC, ETHE. So just going to go over charts today because that's what's important right now without a whole lot of big news coming out. You've seen in the past with some of the news articles that I've been sharing, it's just adoption after adoption after adoption, institutional buying. So let's get right into that. But before we do, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll stop for a second, let you do that. No, just kidding. But seriously, if you like what you're seeing and you appreciate the videos that I'm putting out and it's providing you some good, useful information, then please do hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it greatly. Also remember that I'm not a financial advisor. None of this should be considered financial advice. Everything in this video is to be considered informational and educational purposes only. I'm just a trader, but I do have my opinions and I do want to share those with you. So let's get into it. Okay, so first thing I wanted to go over is obviously Bitcoin. And the nice thing and the not so nice thing about cryptocurrency market is when Bitcoin goes up, everything else gets the chance to go up. They generally go up. When Bitcoin goes down, everything else comes down, and Bitcoin kind of comes down the least percentage-wise. The smaller market cap the altcoin is, the larger it usually comes down. We've seen things come down 95 to 99%. Some of them will never recover. Some of them are great opportunities that can give you that 10,000% gain over the next couple of years should Bitcoin continue and cryptocurrency continue, which is where I see it. So the road to $10,000, right? We've been on it since back in October of last year, even earlier than that, really, July of last year. This is the road to $10,000, and if you don't know, then you should go back and watch the very first video that I recorded on my YouTube channel about me thinking that Bitcoin's going at least to $100,000, and to me, it's just a supply and demand thing. The powers that be, the money involved, can control the supply and leave it very thinly traded and really get it to go parabolic. They could do that, so why wouldn't they? And that's just from the simplest standpoint of any type of analysis. Anyways, let's review here a little. So, we've been, pretty bearish since, that $55,000 level, or at least starting to turn bearish since we saw this initial breakdown and breakdown here, bear pennant, breakdown, bear flag, breakdown. And, I really thought that it would go to a little bit below 24,000. I'm sure a lot of other people thought that. That's probably why it didn't. But I was buying in $31,700 to $37,000 range. And if you've been watching these, I won't buy again until I'm confident over this 47,000 mark, or if we do come down to the $20,000 area, or below $24,000 area. So I'm pretty good with where I'm at. So that we were talking like, yeah, the 50 is going to come down below the 200. I'm not convinced that we're going to stay above the 200, although this is a in the banks, above the 200 they turn it on, below the 200 they turn it off, meaning they sell. So the 50 came down, thought we'd get a little harder rejection, still might, below the 200, back down to the 50 pushes it up, back, break through the 200. So where I'm really, I'm not concerned about what happens between here and the 50-day moving average. Should it come down at all, I am expecting a pullback. Definitely expecting a pullback. We've just been on a run from 29,000 to 46,000, over 46,000. So, what is that, like 65% or something like that? So I would expect a pullback at some point. Maybe the infrastructure bill is what causes that. I don't know. But, this 47,000 area is what I've been watching for a long time. And that's just kind of what I'm still watching. That's a big area for me. And definitely watching that. You can see we're dropping a little bit already right now. But moving on, that's all I'm watching. I'm watching the 200-day moving average, I'm watching the 50-day moving average, and I'm watching this 47,000 area, which so far today we've come up a little bit short. We've reached a high of 46,497, but we've come pretty darn close to that. Moving on, just looking at the Bitcoin dominance, still kind of moving sideways, so nothing big there. Bitcoin goes up, altcoin goes up, altcoins go up, Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down. To explain a little bit about what happened yesterday, there's a pretty big, drop in the price right around the forming of the new candle in Bitcoin. This was just closing the CME futures gap, and that's all it did. The gap was at 43,430, had a close at 42,970. So on some shorter time frame charts, you're going to see a gap from that close, and that's right where we came down to 42,890. So we closed that gap and came right back up. So that's really strong. That's showing a lot of strength, and literally that's all that's been happening. You can see every dip, it's been dipping and it's been getting bought up. So altcoin market cap, total altcoin market cap, we have been sideways 3 days, but we are trading above support. I would expect it to come back above this $1 trillion mark before we saw significant resistance. But again, it's just going to move along with Bitcoin right now. There's been nothing saying that it's not. To move on to the stock market a little bit, Microstrategy doesn't necessarily move along with Bitcoin. People obviously are more confident in MicroStrategy when Bitcoin goes up, and they're less confident when Bitcoin goes down, simply because that's their key investment, right, is Bitcoin. They're taking out loans and everything to buy more and more and more and more Bitcoin. So I don't trade MicroStrategy. For me, I'd just rather be in Bitcoin, but that's just my personal preference. Generally speaking, it looks like it's a very gappy chart, so I don't necessarily expect all gaps to close, but it looks like everything's pretty much closed except for right here and right here. Next major resistance level to watch would be this 886 area. We are trading above that, so even if we dip down and come back above, as long as we come back above, I'd expect it to go to that area. GBTC, again, this one does follow the price of Bitcoin, and for me, I just don't understand why I would want to buy it unless there was some type of arbitrage opportunity. For me, there's not. There used to be for Grayscale. There's not anymore, so that's why it's trading at a discount. Essentially, this says that the price of GBTC is $38,550 if you compare it to Bitcoin. We look down here. We had this island bottom and then gapped up. Not the crazy island bottom, because this gap down here is relatively small, but I would classify that as an island bottom too. So I would expect that this gap right here stay open and we continue at least above this 31.55 level and continue to move up, unless of course it's turned into an island top and we gap down back to here, so which I don't expect at all. But gap right here. Again, it's another very gappy chart, mainly because Bitcoin trades 24/7 and GBTC closes at 4 o'clock Eastern time and opens at 7:30 Eastern time. So all that movement that happens outside of those hours, causes gaps in the chart. So moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum's been really strong. We had the EIP 1559. Of course, that was big. It makes it deflationary by burning ETH, right? And you could go to that website where you can watch ETH burn. Just type in "watch ETH burn" and it'll bring you to the website, and you can see how much ETH has been burned since it started, and every ETH burn that happens in sequence. So we have a little bit of resistance here at the 3105 area. You can see we've gone up past that, but we've been kind of staying under that. Next level to watch is 3374. But if Bitcoin keeps moving up, I see Ethereum moving up at higher percentages. It really looks like it wants to head back to the all-time high. We're trading above this. Here's like the next major support level that we're trading above is this 29.1368-ish area. That we're trading above that, and we're trading below the resistance from the previous days, so in that range. But I want to say it looks like it wants to come to 33.88-ish, But again, I think we're due for a pullback in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't want to be the guy who says we're due for a pullback and everybody sells and then it runs past all-time highs, but I mean, things do not go up forever, and we've pretty much been going up since July 21st nonstop. So just be cautious of that. And we are coming up on that we've pretty much come up to that 47,000 resistance that I've been talking about for months now, at 46,500. So that would constitute us getting there. We could, hit it and break right through it. Yeah, so we look at the Grayscale Ethereum trust, and same thing. I'd rather just hold Ethereum, and I'd rather just hold Bitcoin. I'd rather just hold Ethereum, and here's why, right? Because these trusts, they follow the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So especially like overnight or over the weekends, it's like, what happens if Bitcoin crashes $10,000? Because it's a very volatile asset. It really is. Well, you're stuck until Monday sweating until you can sell it or decide what you want to do with it, or buy a dip on it if you plan on buying on any drops. Like, you got to wait till Monday. Whereas like if I'm just in Bitcoin and Ethereum, even if I don't pay attention to it 24/7, I could at least a few hours like, oh crap, Bitcoin looks like it's dropping. Like, what do I want to do here? And I could do that if I want to. So like, yeah, if Bitcoin crashes over the weekend, this is going to open, let's see, GBTC, this is going to open way down. There's nothing you can do about it until Monday, even though it's continuing to drop over the weekend or overnight. So it does mimic it. This is a little bit more accurate in comparison. It's a little closer, not so much of a discount as GBTC is to Bitcoin, but for the same reasons. The initial arbitrage in the beginning was trading at a premium, and then when those opportunities came to fruition and got sold, they're now trading at a discount. I'm not going to get too much into that, but let's move into the altcoins. And the altcoins, I want to actually jump ahead to one first, because this is the one that initially got me excited about bull market returning. You could see like the downward trend on TVK, and Terra Virtua Collect is a NFT, and it's one of the, I think, older ones that have been around for a while, and this has just been on a tear. It's been a monster. You could see come from a low of a little over 9 cents, maybe slightly below, and it went up to as high as almost 50 cents. So pretty awesome. I don't know. If you grabbed here, you either got lucky or you're just the freaking genius. So great job if you did. But, more of the stuff I look for, I like the saying, I'm successful in the markets because I never buy the bottom and I'm always the first to sell. Right? I like that saying. And, that's kind of what I look to do. I'm obviously not perfect at it. I'm not perfect at a lot of things. But, you can see here, we had this rise with volume start to pick up for volume levels that have never been seen since it's been listed on Binance. And yeah, given it's a lower price, so the dollar volume's a little lower. It might be lower than the dollar volume back here, but look at the volume pickup. I mean, since February, it's the highest since, this got listed on February. And it's like, wow, people are really starting to get into this. So on the drop, I never ended up getting into TVK, but I did get into some other ones that looked better. In my opinion, obviously not much has performed better than this, but you could see the volume continued and had another spike. So, start to look into like, well, what's going up while Bitcoin isn't, and I'm not going to kind of go out of order here, but I just want to go over a bunch of the altcoins. The first one I really got into hard was Chainlink. It was just it looked the best. We had this reversal candle right here, and I started to get into it hard right about here, and I think I got a little lucky. I got into it right as it started. We were trading above, you closed above, trading above the 50-day moving average, and then just had this big day, and that's what where the dominoes fell. It's sideways right now. This channel is essentially between low of 22.039 to 25, and it's trading in that range, and there's no need getting excited about it in either direction until it breaks up or down from that range. You can see it's been in there for a while after a huge move. Same kind of candle as Bitcoin. It looks like a bullish engulfing well, not quite, because it didn't engulf the lower half of this, but you can see just downward trend for a couple months, and then all of a sudden, boom, big green candle, and bear market's over, right? And sometimes that's just the way it goes. So yeah, it's good that like technicals are resetting while it's still moving sideways. It's not moving down. To go over a few more, the next ones that I got into were Luna, Polkadot, and Uniswap. Mainly Luna, because it was when Bitcoin was coming down, Luna was going up, and it was just like I always watch that, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. That like, okay, Bitcoin stops going down, and because its Bitcoin value is going up, it's really rising in value, and then once Bitcoin stops going down, it really shows in the dollar value. And saw that with Cardano back in May when Bitcoin was going down, and Cardano's price, it was like holding steady, and it was just like really taking off on the Bitcoin pair. So right now, Luna just made a huge move. The mark to watch again is $14.20, and we are in a bull flag above the 200-day moving average. So really looking pretty good here. That's all there is to say about that. So still looking good. Could probably come down a tiny bit more, probably not much more unless we actually break down. But you can see way above the 200-day moving average. 50-day moving average is curling up. I'd imagine somewhere slightly before this 50-day moving average passes up is when it breaks up again. And that's when you kind of get that $20 area again, or somewhere around that is what I think. So Luna's still looking good. It's just a patience game now because it just made a big move. Polkadot, I bought, it was starting to look good slightly after Chainlink's run finished. Again, we're bouncing right off the 200-day moving average. I'm on the 4-hour chart just because there's not much that could really decipher off of the 1-day chart. But we are in this channel now, this upward channel. So that's the range you're looking at is, between these lines, and we get back up to this line and probably sell back down again. And just, that's the best kind of buy and hold, is when it's just slowly churning upwards. But I bought into Uniswap just because usually these three, Chainlink, Polkadot, and Uniswap, I call them the big three. They tend to move together, and boy, did this one move. Really thought you'd see good rejection at this 23.5 area, and it just kind of hit it, pulled back, and then blasted right through it. Now we're up at $28. I think we saw a high in the 29s. And yeah, there's a lot of lines on this chart, so don't pay too much attention to that. Really just see all the trading that happened in this area, rejected. So we're really watching that 29.45 area, just because there was a lot of price action in those levels, and it even goes further back. You can see support. So that level is going to be a very telling level. I would expect it, I don't know, maybe not to break through there until Bitcoin has its pullback, and then it'll, when Bitcoin gets going again, run up and maybe break it then. So just some thoughts. So getting back into some other altcoins, looking at Engine Coin, ENJ. This is one that's like the OG NFT. Broke out past this resistance point, and that's one of the things that I was thinking is like, well, everything's been breaking this resistance, kind of in a similar candlestick formations over time. Is they all got this one in the sell-off. I don't know what happened on July 8th, but it seems like everything around that time had a top wick on that candle, and that's been the main resistance that everything's been breaking through. And Engine broke through it, and it's kind of back below it now. So that 153, so yeah, barely just below it. Not saying that it can't close above it. We have 3 hours and 15 minutes left in the trading day, so we'll look for that. It may break above it even if it closes slightly below it. So moving on. Apologize, I don't know if you can hear that, the weed whackers outside my office, so terrible time to do this. Here's a big win, was Filecoin. And Filecoin, all I was looking at was the weekly chart. I didn't really put anything together besides that. I saw it, I liked it, I bought it. Still holding it. I've been trading a little bit of the position, but you look, you got 3 white soldiers, so it's a reversal pattern. You got, well, white candle, white candle, white candle, but green candle, green candle, green candle, all on rising volume. I expect it to keep going. First target is $97. If you look, that's where on the initial run, that's where it sold off at first, all the way back down to 72. I thought it went a little lower than that, but 97 there. You had a rejection at 97 there. I think that's the magnet that it wants to go to. I'm still holding it. Was in the high 40s, I believe, so it's doing really, really well with that one. Moving on to Polka Starter, one that generally, follow. It's just one of those longer term holds. Not super confident in this one, as I go to their website and they have fewer and fewer launches of new tokens. And this is like, look, we got one of them there. If you remember back in like February, we were getting like 3, 4, 5 a week. So maybe it's just kind of slowing up. I don't know, but maybe bull run gets back into full swing. You start getting more and more projects launching. We have a little bit of a descending triangle looking pattern here, so generally those break to the downside, so I would watch for that. Not saying that it can't go up, because we are in an uptrend here, but we'll watch for a break of that trend line, and then we'll watch for a break of this candle's high of the day here. But generally speaking, something to watch for is the breakdown out of this descending triangle. So 1, 2, you'll probably get one more right here. The longer it plays out, the less likely it is to go up. So watch for that on Polka Starter. Kind of losing confidence in that one a little bit, but not completely. Super Farm, looking at the same pattern in an uptrend. This is one of my favorites, mainly just because of the stuff that they have that they're looking to do, haven't done yet on the horizon. Right now they are selling NFTs, but gaming and NFTs are going to fit into this one and the Superverse. So from a technical or from a fundamental standpoint, that's what I'm looking at. From a technical standpoint, it looks like I might be able to get in a little lower. Watch the 50-day moving average should it break down out of this support at 0.652, which is just below where I made my last buy, so hopefully it doesn't come down to there, but it looks like it's gonna. But we'll see. We break this trend line, and then we break this resistance level. We're in business, which would be high of 0.856. So that's what you're looking at. Earn looking like a little bit of a head and shoulder. So definitely looking like things are due for pullbacks, so Bitcoin pulls back, these will have their pullbacks, so be careful with that. Kind of a sloppy head and shoulders, but this is one that I missed out on. I saw it open at 3, run to 10 cents, said I'd buy the dip, and if it pulled back, and it didn't pull back. I didn't chase though, so proud of that. But ran to $73. So moving on, Solana, this is one definitely like. Got a bull flag here, draw that out. Definitely looking for this one to hit that like 44 area, at least in the short term. But we're trading over the support of 38.10. That's the one we wanted to get through. We got through it, so I see it moving up as long as we don't tank in the next couple days. And Bitcoin at $42 area is what I'm looking at. On next SNX, one I started to like and then started to not like, and now I really don't like. We're just kind of in this bear flag right here. Could we break out of it? Sure, could happen. Not worth the risk for me just to be throwing money into things that don't necessarily look that great. So it just, everything else has been taking off, and this just has not. Like you could argue like, oh, it will be the next one, and yeah, that could be, but not looking that way, to be honest. I think it's going to wait for Bitcoin to have its pullback, and that's when this breaks down. So moving on next, another good winner. Hard to chart because of this long wick candle. I don't know if it's a glitch or if it was actually up to at that 2700 point, but ran into a little bit of resistance. You look at the daily chart from way back here on June 15th, and we hit exactly there. and we've just been kind of consolidating a little bit below there. What we want to see is a close above this open and close right here. That's really all we want to see on ICP. ICP and Filecoin are two of those that kind of are willing to move against the price of Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's coming down or staying flat, like ICP and Filecoin, you know, they still might move up, and I like that. I like holding those positions, especially when I'm expecting a pullback on something. If Bitcoin pulls back, could this drop 10-20%? Absolutely. Everything could. So I'm just kind of liking the ones that in the past have shown that they don't necessarily need that. Also, talked about TVK, talked about Luna, still looking good. Cardano is just kind of chugging along. You see on the daily, top wick, bottom wick, it's just a lot of indecision. It's been chugging along upwards because of the looming news of smart contracts. And I don't know, Charles Hoskinson had a tweet saying that, oh, I can't believe people are doubting it. Not necessarily even how good or bad they'll be, but just that that'll happen at all. So he's pretty confident that'll happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened later than expected. It's supposed to come out in August. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened after August, and that's where, you know, the Bitcoin pulls back, this pulls back. I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm not saying things are going to pull back. It could, like I said, Bitcoin could blast through 47,000. These altcoins can continue to move in the same direction. Could, you know, just keep doing that more than you could stay solvent, right? The market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So we already talked about Chainlink being a sideways channel, Polkadot an upward channel, just kind of moving nicely up and up and up. Uniswap coming up on resistance at 29.5. And then I don't know how I missed this one. This is one that I've been pretty you know, big on in my own world, thinking like, yeah, this could be big one day, because this is the decentralized exchange for Polygon, or Matic. And you know, Matic is going to grow. Right now, Matic's relatively new, their network, and Polygon, their symbol is Matic, and they used to be called Matic, but they kept the same symbol. But anyways, like right now, I think being so new, a lot of scams got in there, and but it'll evolve, and they'll get more and more quality projects. And this is a decentralized exchange, kind of like how Uniswap uses Ethereum, QuickSwap uses Polygon, and just like PancakeSwap uses BNB. That's how this works. So this is a really low market cap. I think it's only around like a $70 million market cap, where Uniswap is like 5 or 8 billion or something like that. So just a lot of room to grow for this one. I like it a lot. I'm going to consider it a miss for right now, and we'll see what happens over the next week or so, see if an entry comes into play. I'm not going to force it. Done really well over the past couple weeks, so I'm not going to risk giving a lot of that back. Another exchange, mentioned this before in the 10 altcoins that are ripping or can rip, is FTX. Their token's FTT. This one is taking over. This one's coming in strong, and I think that they're doing more, and they're getting more support from users, especially with people's frustrations with Binance growing and growing and growing and growing. And you can see the token's just taken off. It's up 8.9% today. It was up over 10%. Bitcoin is back down to 45,600, so you're seeing everything kind of pull back just a little bit. Lastly, want to talk Dogecoin. Dogecoin, hard to see on this chart. Binance is a little easier to see. Let me look at Binance. So you can see on this Binance chart, I always say watch the 7-day, the 25-day, and 99-day simple moving averages, just because they are the default on Binance, and Binance is the second largest exchange in the world. So you can see how we've been kind of hovering above, you know, this 25-day moving average, and just kind of holding. And it's like, that showed me that there was great you know, holders involved there, that they're probably not going to sell. And then you see this nice increase in volume here with a small move up, you know, not a huge increase, and it's like, yeah, this is looking strong. Everything's been moving up. Dogecoin hasn't been, so, you know, pop, you know, went all the way up to 28. Sold a little bit, been holding most of it, and you know, you could see we were in this cup and handle formation. We actually broke above the pivot point, you know, right here, and then sold back below it, but we're still in this handle. So now, you know, you got a new pivot point here of 0.26666. So just watching that, you got the initial rejection, and then watch the 25-day moving average on the 1 hour chart. But yeah, kind of disappointing there. But with a Bitcoin pullback, everything else kind of respects. So yeah. So yes, definitely just wanted to share those charts today. Those are the main altcoins I follow. Some of them I'm in and holding. Some of them I'm in and out of. Some of them I'm not in at all, and I just watch. But definitely want to share that. Not much big news. Really watching the infrastructure bill. I haven't been paying attention to it through the course of this video, so hopefully didn't miss anything. But things are still looking bullish. Watching the 47,000, breaks above that, and it's looking confident. Probably see 52,000 before any pullback. The RSIs are still great on these. Nothing too overbought if they are overbought at all. So still not completely out of the woods, but I like to see us above the 200-day moving average. Still, could sell back below it today. Dogecoin is already down 1.5 pennies from its high. Not saying that it won't recover, but yeah, just following the charts. Not much news to go over. But yeah, so if you did like today's video, please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. I appreciate it greatly. Like I said, my next goal is 1,000. I'm a long ways away from that. I'm at about 235. But first goal was 100. Second goal was 200. So we've hit those. And I'm going to keep doing this. So hopefully you guys keep enjoying it, and hopefully it's still helpful. So please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.